If you're 35, have you already missed your chance? That question has quietly become one of the most profitable lies on the internet. Not because it's true, because fear sells. 23-year-old crypto millionaires. 26-year-old startup founders ringing the opening bell at Nasdaq. 28-year-old influencers filming day in the life of a millionaire. Videos from penthouses overlooking Dubai Marina. Then, a 34-year-old accountant driving to work. A nurse dropping children at school. A software engineer staring at mortgage payments. A small business owner wondering whether this year's revenue will finally justify the last 5 years. Only one of these stories dominates your feed. Social media doesn't reward probability. It rewards outliers. It compresses time. It edits out failure. And slowly, it changes what normal looks like. The number feels wrong. Almost offensive. Because we've spent years consuming a different story. One where wealth belongs to people barely old enough to rent a car. Here's the uncomfortable reality. If your goal is internet fame, then yes, 30 might feel late. If your goal is building actual wealth, 30 is often where the game finally begins. The economy doesn't reward potential. It rewards leverage. And leverage usually arrives much later than motivation. Experience compounds. Networks compound. Reputation compounds. Income compounds. Authority compounds. Those things rarely exist at 23. So why does 30 feel like failure? Why do people earning more than they ever imagined still believe they're behind? Why are millions of financially stable adults haunted by people they will never meet? Whose wealth exists primarily as content? Those questions reveal something much larger than personal finance. They reveal how an entire generation has confused visibility with success. Everyone understands compound interest. Almost nobody understands compound leverage. And they're not the same thing. The classic advice sounds familiar. Start investing at 20. Buy index funds. Wait 40 years. Become wealthy. Mathematically, it's excellent advice. Psychologically, it's almost impossible for many people. Because your 20s are usually the decade with the least money, the least stability, the fewest opportunities, the weakest negotiating power. Now compare that with your 30s. Income rises. Skills deepen. Professional credibility expands. Relationships become assets. Capital becomes available. Decisions become larger. Mistakes become more expensive. And suddenly, every percentage increase creates exponentially larger outcomes. The strange irony is this. Your 20s are optimized for learning. Your 30s are optimized for leverage. Most people spend the first decade worrying they don't have enough money. Then spend the second decade wasting the financial power they finally earned. A graph appears. 2 lines. The first line represents investment returns. Slow. Steady. Predictable. The second line represents income growth through promotions, specialization, entrepreneurship, and equity ownership. It starts later. Then accelerates sharply. The second line eventually towers above the first. Here's the question almost nobody asks. What matters more? Growing a $5,000 investment by 10%? Or increasing your annual income by $40,000? One changes your portfolio. The other changes your life. Yet financial conversations obsess over optimizing returns, instead of optimizing earning power. It's like arguing over fuel efficiency, while ignoring the size of the engine. Parents helping with homework. Late-night laptop screens. Business owners closing shops. Professionals studying for certifications after work. Couples discussing budgets over dinner. These aren't glamorous moments. They don't go viral. But they're where wealth is quietly manufactured. Because the biggest financial transformation rarely looks dramatic while it's happening. It looks repetitive. Routine. Boring. Until one day, it looks inevitable. This is where the story changes. Not from getting rich quickly, but from understanding that wealth follows entirely different rules after 30. The rules shift. The advantages shift. The risks shift. Even time itself starts behaving differently. And that's exactly why so many intelligent people misplay the decade that matters most. Ask someone turning 35 how they feel financially. The answer often sounds strangely similar. I should be further ahead. Not, I don't know what I'm doing. Not, I've made terrible decisions. Just one persistent feeling. I'm behind. Behind whom? That's rarely clear. Because the comparison isn't against neighbors, or coworkers, or family. It's against an algorithm. The algorithm has become the new measuring stick for adulthood. And algorithms don't optimize for reality. They optimize for attention. Every swipe quietly resets your expectations. Not upward by a little. Upward by an impossible amount. Behavioral economists call this reference dependence. Humans don't judge success in absolute terms. They judge it relative to whatever they see most often. Change the reference point, and satisfaction changes with it. Even if income doesn't. A household earning 6 figures once represented financial security. Today, someone making that same income can feel poor after 30 minutes on social media. Nothing changed financially. Only psychologically. That distinction matters. Because perception influences behavior. And behavior determines wealth. One of the most overlooked financial traps isn't bad investing. It's distorted expectations. When people believe they've already fallen behind, they begin taking risks designed to catch up. That urgency becomes expensive. They chase speculative assets. Trade options without understanding probabilities. Invest in businesses they never researched. Borrow money to appear successful. Every decision feels justified. Because they aren't trying to build wealth anymore. They're trying to erase regret. The irony? Most real wealth is astonishingly unremarkable in its early stages. It doesn't announce itself. It accumulates quietly. While everyone else watches louder stories unfold. Distribution of millionaire ages. Bars climb steadily through the 40s and 50s. The tallest bars appear far beyond 30. This surprises people because visibility isn't evenly distributed. Young millionaires receive disproportionate attention. Older millionaires quietly accumulate disproportionate wealth. One group generates headlines. The other owns the companies producing them. Think about the careers that dominate modern economies. Medicine, law, engineering, finance, consulting, executive leadership, scientific research. Most don't even reach peak earnings until the late 30s. Or much later. The market doesn't reward credentials immediately. It rewards accumulated judgment. Judgment requires time. Time rarely photographs well. What looks like overnight success often hides 15 years of invisible preparation. The promotion announced on LinkedIn. The acquisition covered by business media. The successful practice. The profitable company. The public only sees leverage activating. Most real wealth is astonishingly unremarkable in its early stages. It doesn't announce itself. It accumulates quietly. While everyone else watches louder stories unfold. Distribution of millionaire ages. Bars climb steadily through the 40s and 50s. The tallest bars appear far beyond 30. This surprises people because visibility isn't evenly distributed. Young millionaires receive disproportionate attention. Older millionaires quietly accumulate disproportionate wealth. One group generates headlines. The other owns the companies producing them. Think about the careers that dominate modern economies. Medicine, law, engineering, finance, consulting, executive leadership, scientific research. Most don't even reach peak earnings until the late 30s. Or much later. The market doesn't reward credentials immediately. It rewards accumulated judgment. Judgment requires time. Time rarely photographs well. What looks like overnight success often hides 15 years of invisible preparation. The promotion announced on LinkedIn. The acquisition covered by business media. The successful practice. The profitable company. The public only sees leverage activating. They rarely see leverage being built. That misunderstanding creates one of the biggest psychological errors in personal finance. People compare their backstage to someone else's highlight reel, and then mistake discouragement for reality. The numbers tell a different story than the culture does. Labor economists have documented a remarkably consistent pattern across developed economies. Earnings generally rise sharply through the 30s as workers accumulate experience, industry-specific expertise, managerial responsibility, and negotiating power. The largest asset many people own during this decade isn't their investment portfolio. It's their future earning potential. And unlike stock prices, that asset can often be influenced directly. A promotion, a specialization, a certification, a profitable side business, an ownership stake. Each one permanently increases the base from which future wealth compounds. That's different from investment returns. Investment growth compounds existing capital. Career growth compounds future cash flow. One works on money. The other creates more money to invest. Most financial advice focuses almost exclusively on the first equation. Very little attention goes toward the second. Which raises a question. If your investments earn 10%, but your income doubles, which mattered more? That's where conventional financial advice begins to break down. Because investing isn't the only form of compounding. Sometimes, it's the smallest one. Imagine two people. The first becomes obsessed with investment returns. They spend hours debating whether one ETF will outperform another by 0.5%. The second spends those same hours learning a skill that doubles their earning capacity. Who becomes wealthier? The answer isn't even close. For most people, especially in their 30s, the return on human capital dwarfs the return on financial capital. Economists have argued this for decades. Yet social media continues selling a different fantasy. That the secret to wealth lies in finding the next stock, the next cryptocurrency, the next explosive investment, instead of becoming the kind of person the market consistently pays more. This is where the narrative becomes uncomfortable. Because increasing your earning power isn't glamorous. It requires years, repeated failure, awkward conversations, negotiation, continuous learning after work. It rarely produces dramatic screenshots.